All right, so everybody joining us here on live on Afternoons TMG, man. She is one of our favorite recording artists.
Yes.
Oh.
She's an entertainer, she's a singer, she's a songwriter, she's a producer, she's a Grammy Award winner, and she's dropping her latest CD entitled Milestone. Please welcome the lovely Chrisette Michele live on the show today.
Yay.
How you doing, babe?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
Girl, you're looking great.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
So what's up with the new look, man?
You know, it changes every 25 minutes. I mean, you know, I just be playing. Whatever happens in the morning.
Wow.
Oh, you look pretty.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, I love your tattoo on your arm, too.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So you have a new look, you have a new relationship.
Yeah, well, it's an old relationship that came back around. I guess you call those old flames.
Yeah.
We went to college together. We fell in love in college, and we got our first record deal and made our first couple of million together.
Wow.
And then as soon as that happened, we went into this huge, industry bind and lawsuits and all this crazy stuff. And it took 7 years of litigation for us to get out of it. We weren't allowed to speak during that time.
Yeah.
When that was all finished and said and done, and I had started my new record label just recently, I missed that comfort, and so I reached out to him, and he said he never stopped loving me. So we got back together. Got into the studio, recorded some music, some music that happens in a space like that. Got engaged 7 days later, and that's kind of what Milestone is about.
Wow.
Wait a minute, girl.
It's a lot happening.
I've said it so many times. I try and condense it, but
you
first
try
I
to
would
say
like
that
to say
quick,
how
you know.
casually she was like, we made our first couple of million together, and she whizzed right by
she
that.
went
I
right
love
through all
that.
that.
you know
I
what?
love that.
You know what? This is the first time where I'm embracing all of my truth.
Yes.
Sometimes I embrace the parts that everybody's been through or that everybody understands. But this time I said, you know what? I'm going to say all the stuff, and if somebody gets it, they get it, and if they don't, it's okay. But the album's called Chrisette Michele's Milestone, and no one else's.
That's a book. That's a book.
Yeah.
Because when you say that you went through litigation for 7 years and you did not talk through something like money is one of those things, and lawsuits is one of those things people have a very hard time recovering from.
Oh, no, it was tough. My mom described it as a divorce. Our lawyers kept saying to us, you guys are going through a divorce.
Wow.
Do you know, like, this is the equivalent. So the emotional turmoil was brutal, lots of therapy. But my mom was my manager during that time, and she was the liaison between he and I. And so there was always a relationship between the two of them, but not between us. Yeah.
And then we'll move to the album.
Sure,
I promise.
sure.
In those 7 days that you came back together and then got engaged, what was the conversation like to reunite in such a strong way?
It was kind of like, I've been praying. Have you been praying? And he was like, yes. And I was like, yes. And we were like, we know this is God, so let's not play with it this time.
Wow.
Do you know? Because the first time around, you don't know what you have. But Janet Jackson and Joni Mitchell said, don't really seem to go, that you don't know what you got till it's gone. But lucky for me, it came back around.
You know what I see a theme of? Because Fantasia was just with us a couple of days
Love
ago.
her.
Yeah, and you seem sort of in that same exact space that she was in, which is of reconciling your past and maturing enough to move into your future in a completely better way. And it shows on your womanhood.
Yes, it does.
She's one of my favorite people, and we do have that same energy when we're around each other. And it's a place that you do grow into. I always vowed never to grow up, but you do it by mistake, and it happens with moments like these.
So how does real love feel this time around for you?
It feels secure, and it feels safe, but it feels like a pact that God already made before we got here. It's kind of like all the pieces sort of fit in. So everywhere that I lack, he has like the increase. And then there's, the arguments. You'll hear that on the album too.
Yeah. I know you're probably anxious to talk about this album, so because we can talk about this other stuff.
This is, that is the album, and that's the nice thing about writing about your life is that you can talk about, what's going on in your life, and you're talking about your music, and art is imitating life.
So tell us a little more about Milestone.
Sure. There's another story in it. So he and I were in the studio, and he said something slick out the mouth. He's a producer, an executive producer of lots of music, and I just thought it was arrogant. So don't do that to me in the studio. Otherwise, I'm going to start writing about you. And I did. And I got halfway through the song and I felt guilty. And I said, I can't put this out. He steals the song from me and sends it to an old good friend of mine who stopped speaking to me also, Rick Ross. And then he calls me on the phone and he says, Rick Ross has something he wants to tell you. And he plays this song, Equal. That's my next single out. So all the songs just have all of these webs and weaving happening. And that's one thing that happened on the album also. So The first song on the album is called Diamond Letter. So I was in the midst of breaking up with my ex, and Doug, my manager, my boyfriend, fiance, came along during that time. And so I write a song called Diamond Letter, where I'm writing him a letter with a diamond on my finger. No, you never did me wrong, but someone can do me better. Wow. So it's just real life.
So
and
awesome.
Unfortunately, I'm a lyricist.
Well, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
So this whole thing with Rick Ross, how did that finally get cleared up?
Yeah.
That's how it got cleared up.
Okay.
And that's crazy. You know, like, what
You just get a phone call, get on the phone with him.
You're artists, and so the easiest thing for you to do is write a song. It's much easier than having a conversation on the phone. No artist really picks up their cell phone and talks. I mean, they feel like their arm has been chopped off. I know people who only have house phones. I've been trying to reach Music Soul Child for weeks. I finally call his house phone and I get in touch with him. We just don't answer phones.
Yeah.
So it was reconciled by my manager going to his management and sending him the song and him writing what he wrote. And when you listen to the record, I mean, it starts off by saying, I apologize. I've been in love with you for 6 years. So I dropped down to my knees. I was like, do we put this out? Do you know, or is this our journal? And essentially that's what music is.
Your journal.
It really is. So I've never been this vulnerable. Part of it is the people who I've collaborated's faults, and part of it is just the space I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we're not really trying to dig, but what really happened between you and Rick Ross, in your own words? What really happened?
So we did a song called Aston Martin Music a while back, and it was this big successful record, millions of copies, and we went to an award show. We were supposed to perform at this award show, Soul Train Awards, and somebody came and gave me a message, which I still don't know if it is true, that he left for a specific reason. And then somebody gave him a message that I did something which wasn't true also. We got so upset with each other. I wrote a letter to the entire media, and all types of magazines picked up what I wrote, and I was upset with him, and I spoke about that. And he heard that, and he spoke about that via the radio, but not to my face. And it was just this disconnect. We had been doing shows together. We were having so much fun together, and it ended there. And that was painful for me because, of course, I had a crush on him. He's Rick Ross. Like, that happened. And then, you think you're going to do music with this person again, and it doesn't happen. So for my fiance to bring him the song was awkward sauce. That was really awkward. And the reason why I dropped to my knees was because I didn't want my fiance to see me have this emotional reaction.
Wow.
Do you still?
Just a little bit. Go ahead.
Sure. He could have said, "Do you still have feelings for this guy?"
Yeah.
But my guy is, one, he's very secure, and two, he's very easily, and so. But it was real. Yeah,
Wow.
You're laughing.
Wow. Chrisette, have you always been so easily able to express yourself like you are right now and so comfortable? Because I feel like you're just so you're like so transparent. Have you always been that way?
Well, my mom's psychology and special ed, and my dad sociology and special ed. So I didn't have a choice. I lived in a therapeutic home.
You were sitting on a couch all the time, right?
Yeah, it was called a therapeutic home for kids to come and live at until they could manage living at their own homes.
Yeah. You mentioned that
Wow.
Fantasia was one of your favorite people. Any other artists are some of your favorites?
Being on the TV show R&B Divas LA for such a long time, I've really gotten to fall in love with Little Mo and Leela James. I fall in love with people when I get to spend time with them. Everybody knows how much I love Wale in the music industry. I got to meet Kay Michelle, and we got to spend some time together, and she was okay. First of all, let's start off by fireplace, hot chocolates, sweaters. So that's where it began. Night sky outside. She was the warmest, sweetest, gentlest spirit that I had met in a really long time. So,
then that has something to do with the fireplace and the hot chocolate.
Well, that's why I started there, because it was just such a warm experience. And so, you put people. The truth of the matter is, you put people in a situation that makes them uncomfortable, they're going to act out. You put people in a situation that makes them comfortable. That's why reality shows don't have hot chocolate and fireplaces.
That's right.
Girl,
That's right.
you are. I love you. Like, amazing. You're amazing.
you.
Tell me all about Rich Hipster and how
Rich
that
Hipster.
happened.
So I'm in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. I'm living in this really cool high-rise, and there's all these rich people walking around with dirty Chuck Taylors, and I couldn't wrap my mind around why they wouldn't buy new sneakers. So I copy
Because
off
they
of
own
them.
4 apartments in the building.
Right. So I copy off of them and make my Chuck Taylors dirty and go to coffee shops and hang out with these people. And I realized they love culture. They love hip hop. They love graffiti. So I decided to call this strange group of people Rich Hipsters. And so I named my record label Rich Hipster.
And how has it been having your own label?
Yeah, are you making money?
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
what's that
yeah.
like?
Because I know the industry is funny now.
That always happens.
Yeah.
Money's not the issue. Spending money is the part that's kind of like, oh my goodness, you know, it's not $10,000, it's $100,000 here, and then it's another $100,000 there, and it's to service your song to radio, or it's to make sure that everybody knows you have a record coming out, or it's for commercials at radio. It's really expensive, and I think that when you come from a major label background, people expect you to continue to spend that money. And so if you do any type of budget cuts, people are pissed. You know, like, can we get the $5,000 deal for $4,500? You know, it's like you slap them in the face.
Right.
So I think the spending and the budgeting is really intense. But my partner and fiance and I decided we were not going to go halfway. We were going to go all the way, and really be serious about putting out an album.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying being on the other side of the label? You know, you're the artist, but now you're the label owner. So is that an enjoyable experience for you?
Well, as the artist, it's important to me this time around to put out singles that really describe who I am as a full person. So the albums are still a whole album like they always have been, but I need to put out more than 1 or 2 singles. I can't just put out one ballad and then everybody thinks I never write up tempos. Do you know? And then the other exciting thing is we're producing the tour this time. So we're doing 33 cities. Of course, we'll be back here. But producing the tour ourselves is exciting because there are no limits, no boundaries to what I can do on stage. Yeah.
This sounds exciting, man, that you're in control of your own destiny
I love
now.
it.
You know?
Basically,
Yeah.
I have hired people to yell at me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. You know, sometimes we sit with an artist.
That's what y'all do.
She's looking all around at everybody like, yes, you do. I want to say it is an absolute pleasure to talk to you because a lot of times we have artists, you know, that come in and they are not at all as, you know, learned in the business, and we love the artistry of it all, but it's so refreshing to talk to somebody who's so knowledgeable about your career.
Thank you. I try to keep a balance because I don't want to bore anybody listening. But we live in an entrepreneurial world. The millennials are entrepreneurs at heart, and I desire to feed them. So.
Hillary Clinton getting the nomination. What does that mean for you?
Sorry. I don't want to talk about politics.
Okay. No problem. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a crazy time in the world.
It is.
It is.
Just about,
It is.
not politics, just about a woman being able
that's
to
really what I
gain
meant. I
the
didn't mean-
nomination.
Oh, that was it?
Yes.
Yeah, just
yes.
how do you
just
feel
about a woman getting the
being able to get a
nomination
nomination
for
of a major
president.
party?
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
I
if
wasn't
you're voting
asking
for
your
her
political
or-
choice and
none
all
of
of that. No.
Just what does it feel as a woman?
Well,
Yeah.
as a woman,
Yeah.
we're in the wrong city for you to ask me this, but you know, I do worry at times because I'm a woman and I'm you know, the jokes are, you know, I'm very emotional, or what happens every 28 days, or you know, when we go into specific types of situations when that type of situation comes around. You know, there's a funny side of it, but the other side of it is this is one of the first elections in my voting age where I have been more clueless, I'm being honest, about what the points are.
Okay.
You know,
That's fair.
About the policies. Yeah.
about what the points are. I fear for, you know, the younger people, because, you know, you don't even know who you like, who you don't like as a person first now. Now it's like, do I like this person? Which before, I don't know if I was worried if I liked the president. I just wanted to make sure that he served or she served the country well.
Yeah.
Now I've never been more unaware of what they want to fix, change, and make
That's
good.
fair.
That will change. That will change as
over the next few months.
Yes, it will. It will. And that you're right. That clarity has not been set forth.
But remember when Barack was running
you knew
before?
right away.
We knew everything.
You knew it. That's
But
right.
it's a different climate because of the antics of the whole thing. But we'll get to that. I believe we will get to that.
I hope so.
I hope we get to that.
Yeah,
I
I
hope so,
believe
because
we will.
my ADD just doesn't even want to watch television. It's just
I understand.
Well, back to the album. Congratulations.
It's
The
a
fifth
beautiful
studio
album.
Yep.
Thank
the
you.
artwork, the CD, it is beautiful. I love it.
That was shot in my living room. We had a little studio set up, and a little kid, he's 21, but to me he's a baby, shot that in our living room. And I said, you know what? You're really special. I want people to know who you are. So there's a little young man named Blair Caldwell. Yeah.
Wow.
Where can your fans follow you? What's your social media? And
Come
all
hang
that?
out with me at richhipster.biz. We are always vlogging and showing our antics all over the world. And then the milestoneTour.com is where you can come and get all the info about the tour, which starts at Essence Fest in New Orleans and, of course, comes up here. So the milestoneTour.com. Tickets go on sale tomorrow.
Well, girl, you look beautiful. More importantly, you look happy.
You are happy. I can feel it.
You can tell.
Incredible.
Yes, we'll be at the show for sure. When it
Thank
comes
you
to
so much for dropping by today, okay?
Thanks so much, guys.
Chrisette Michele again, everybody. Chrisette.
Yeah, great stuff.